series Metal Evolution, I explored 11 subgenres of heavy metal and over 400 years of music history. The show aired on networks around the world and was a big success. But there was one glaring omission. There was no episode on metal's most underground and aggressive subgenre, extreme metal.
Extreme metal is a term that covers a number of metal styles, including death metal, grindcore, doom metal, the first wave of black metal, Norwegian black metal, Swedish extreme metal, and more. Building on the sound of thrash, these styles ramped up metal's speed and complexity. But there's a question about extreme metal that I've long wanted to answer. How is there so much diversity in a genre that to most people sounds like noise?
I still want to reach this master of the shadow fear into all infinity. Certainly, it has indeed been a day of suffering.
If anyone's paid attention to the t-shirts I've worn during this series, you'll already know that I'm a huge fan of the darker and more brutal forms of metal. But even though I consider myself an extreme metal expert, I've always struggled to accurately define it. So to get started, I want to ask extreme metal musicians how they define this music.
Extreme music is for extreme people. There's a lot of notes, there's a lot of aggression, there's a lot of fury, and it's fast. I mean, those are some key components to it, and then that's not for everyone. I mean, you know, it's not easy listening. I can't imagine your average sort of white bread housewife doing laundry and then listening to, Blasphemy of the Holy Ghost. I mean, I don't hear that.
What is extreme music? What is extreme metal? It's a very pragmatic term. It's the guitar style, it's the way of using the drums, and it's the particular usage of vocals.
One of the main lines from extreme metal and just traditional metal or regular metal is actually when you go from ah to ah.
I define extreme metal as taking all the musical elements of heavy metal and then pushing them one step further to the point whereby you start departing from conventional aspects of music. So most outsiders would say, oh, that's just a noise. It's actually a very complex form of music, and delving into that complexity is part of the fun.
One of the first metal albums I heard that sounded extreme was Venom's Welcome to Hell. I had listened to Iron Maiden, Motorhead, and bands that were part of the new wave of British heavy metal, but Venom was way more intense. So I've come to Newcastle, England, the home of Venom, to find out why they were so extreme. So it's the early 80s, the new wave of British heavy metal is starting to explode. Can you talk about to what extent you felt like you were part of Nawabum, or you felt like you were something completely different?
I think, to be perfectly honest, We didn't really feel that much of a part of it. I mean, we rebelled against that squeaky clean style, and, you know, everybody trying to produce everything as best they could, all this kind of stuff. And whether it was youthful arrogance or whatever, you know, we just did what came naturally. But what we did, by whatever means and by whatever force, became something entirely different to what everybody else was doing.
The first thing that comes to mind that separates Venom are the vocals. You had stuff like Motorhead, where it was definitely not just traditional singing, but, you know, Lemmy always had a tinge of melody, where Kronos was just really, he really was just kind of barking it out. It's like the first kind of prototypical guttural stuff.
The vocal style played a big part in giving the band its identity. Maybe that caused restrictions in melody and all that kind of thing, like, but we were never about that. You know, we were just about that raw punch in the face.
Venom put on these amazing shows, and yeah, looking back, a little bit hocus pocus and, you know, decidedly cheesy, but as a youth, bands like Venom, I think, just really captured people's imagination. You know, you had Kiss, and they looked the part, but they sing about love and women and bikinis and stuff like that. Whereas Venom, they were singing about the devil and, you know, Elizabeth Bathory, and it just was really vulgar.
It's